Welcome to Is It Covered, where we break down real stories and answer the big question, is it covered? Hosted by father and son duo Bruce and Brian Chapman of the J.D. Chapman Insurance Agency. This podcast will help you navigate the world of insurance with stories, tips, and answers that really matter. From personal to commercial coverage, we've got you covered. Now, let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Is It Covered, where we explore different aspects of claims for insurance. Might sound a little boring, insurance, but you know what? Claims can be interesting.
Sure.
Not all claims are covered. If you do have a claim, we're not really giving you advice, but definitely you want to reach out to your insurance agent or company to see how they can help you out. We've been exploring nuclear verdicts. Nuclear verdicts are verdicts that are over typically $100 million or over...
Typically 10 million or
10
more.
million, yeah. Today's nuclear verdict is all about hotel negligence and a guest left unchecked. And I'm going to turn this over to Brian to give you the details and how this claim played out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's odd that we're going over another one at a hotel.
I know. Be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you a brief overview, break down some details, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
So Priscilla O'Malley suffered irreversible brain damage after a delayed welfare check at a Diamond Resorts hotel. The hotel was ultimately found negligent for not following its welfare check policies. And the verdict amount on this one was $70,445,361. So essentially what happened in this case is Priscilla O'Malley was a business owner. I believe she was on some form of a business trip. Mm-hmm. She checks into a Diamond Resorts hotel. Mr. O'Malley tries to contact his wife via cell phone multiple times. She's not getting back to him. He's starting to worry, thinking, boy, what's wrong here? This is not like her.
Yeah.
So he calls the front desk of the hotel, says, hey, my wife's staying there. I can't get a hold of her. Can you do a welfare check? So the front desk person, after a little bit of delayed time, sends their janitor or their maintenance person to do a welfare check on the room. Well, the gentleman at trial claimed that he went to the room, used his master key.
This is the gentleman that's going to check on her.
Yes, this is the janitor.
Okay.
Yep. This is the hotel employee.
Got it.
Is going to check on Mrs. O'Malley.
Yep.
He gets to the door, knocks, says maintenance, nobody answers. He uses the key to get into the room. Mm-hmm. He opens the door and he said it was completely dark. So he didn't turn on the light. He didn't step into the room to check. He just assumed that this person was not in their room.
Right.
So they get back to Mr. O'Malley and they say, hey, your wife is not in the hotel room. Well, he says, well, that's weird. Mm-hmm. So he keeps trying her and trying her and trying her, and he's not getting any response. He calls the hotel again, and they said, yeah, she's not in the room. So he ends up saying, and this becomes, I think it was like, 5:30 in the morning at this point. Mm-hmm. He's freaking out. So he drives to the hotel himself. Mm-hmm. He comes in, he says that, his wife is staying here. He can't get a hold of her. So they go into the hotel room, Mr. O'Malley and the employees. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Mrs. O'Malley is found on the ground. So she ultimately, and this is pretty sad, she suffered a brain aneurysm shortly after she checked in, and she was left unattended for 11 hours.
Wow.
Laying on the hotel room.
Did she pass away?
No. Is a miracle, I think. She did not pass away.
Wow.
They realized that she was still breathing or some form of life, and so that they, initiated 911 and, made a call, and, she was rushed to the hospital. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, yes, she does survive. Mm-hmm. Now, Mr. O'Malley is now her permanent caretaker, and they obviously sued. I believe it was Diamond Resorts Management. Mm-hmm. Now, this is what happened. Diamond Resorts Management had just taken over this hotel, and it didn't properly train their new employees mm-hmm. on their welfare check, which would include going into the room, turning the lights on, and actually seeing if anybody's physically in there.
Yeah.
So they were ultimately found negligent that they didn't follow their own welfare check protocol. So Mrs. O'Malley, some of the injuries that she suffers from short-term memory loss in the form of retrograde amnesia, which causes her to unable to hold new memories for even seconds.
Wow.
Counsel noted that Mrs. O'Malley cannot remember anything she is told even 5 seconds before, and that Mrs. O'Malley requires monitoring every second as she can leave a location and then not know where she is.
Wow.
So essentially, she needs to be monitored 24/7 for the 16 waking hours of the day.
Holy cow.
And, Mr. O'Malley, again, is now her permanent caretaker. So it was determined that Mrs. O'Malley damages totaled $50,445,361, and that Mr. O'Malley damages totaled $10 million. So again, this it's a sad case. I'm glad that Mrs. O'Malley survived, but again, it's like a broken record. We're going to go back to, if you're a business owner and you acquire a new business, you need to make sure that those employees are up to speed on your policies. There need to be some trainings.
Protocols.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely. So again, it goes back to safety and just making sure that, you have the forethought to think, okay, we've got a new business. Now we need to train these employees to our standards.
And these are really, really big verdicts, and people might be thinking, well, $100 million, that would be pretty awesome. However, I wouldn't trade my health for $100 million any day of the year.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
Your quality of life is pretty horrible at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's not just affecting that person. It affects every person. It affects everybody in that person's life.
Absolutely.
Husband, kids, whatever it may be. So
absolutely.
Maybe in the next couple episodes, we'll do something a little happier.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
With a little bit more excitement. But
we've got one in the books about fraud.
Yeah.
That should be kind of fun.
Yeah, yep.
There's a lot of dumb criminals out there.
Absolutely. It's not how to commit fraud, but it's like a fraud hall of shame.
Exactly. Yeah, true. Good point. It's not fraud 101.
Correct.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, Brian, I think obviously this is covered, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This one is covered by the insurance. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. So as always, we encourage everyone to write in with questions, brian@jdchapmaninc.com. Like I said, last episodes, we do have some questions coming in, and we look forward to breaking those down for everybody.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Have a good day.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Is It Covered podcast. To learn more about how JD Chapman can assist you with all your insurance needs, please visit our website at jdchapmaninc.com or call us at 315-986-4062. JD Chapman, we've got you covered. This podcast provides general information only and does not offer or bind insurance coverage. Coverage cannot be changed or confirmed through this podcast, email, voicemail, or fax. Insurance only takes effect once confirmed by a licensed agent. For specific coverage details, please call us at 315-986-4062. All coverages are subject to the terms, conditions, and exclusions of the issued policy, which may vary by state. This podcast does not provide legal, tax, or financial advice. Please consult a professional for those needs. Links to other sites are provided for convenience. We don't control or endorse their content. Any claims scenarios discussed are hypothetical. Coverage decisions depend on the specifics of each case.